Hi everybody, so this is a part 2 video. I just made one with an update. It's been about a year, an update on me, myself, and where I'm at, and then I had promised I would make a second one about the kids, primarily Dana, and that way you kind of know what's going on with us there. So if you're just watching this, for the first time, Dana is almost 5. She'll be 5 in June. Delta, her younger sister, is 3, turned 3 in January. So Dana was diagnosed with autism at 18 months, but we knew at around 9 months. So she started getting early interventions at 10 months. So we got a big jump on her treatment really early. So she attends public preschool. Prior to that, she was in an in-home daycare center, and then she, kind of grew out of that. Her behaviors, I think, became a little bit too much. So over the summertime, she wasn't in any programs. She does get ABA therapy, and so she was getting ABA therapy over the summer 2 or 3 days a week. I can't remember now. It might have been 3 days a week. So I try to keep her busy and learning, and so some struggles that we've had, and I mentioned it in my last video, but it's hard as a special needs parent to communicate just how hard things can be. It's like, if you know type of thing. It's hard to understand unless you've experienced it. And we actually went this last weekend to an egg hunt. Easter will be this weekend. We went to an egg hunt that was put on for autism families, and which is amazing. And I'm so thankful that people and organizations put those on. And it was at a park, and so we take the girls, and every special needs event we go to, I just cry because I'm so thankful, but I'm also like, I look at these parents and I know the pain that they go through, and it's just overwhelming. So, but happy, it doesn't mean I won't go. Like, it's really important to go. So, but backtracking a little bit, one of the struggles that Dana was really struggling with last year was bathrooms. So big time fear of bathrooms, including our bathroom. So she would not take a bath or a shower. So I was doing sponge baths every night. And that was for almost a year. And she will go through these phases where she has big time anxiety about something or fear, and then it's like a switch flips off and suddenly it's not scary anymore. So slowly she started like 1 foot into the bathroom. In ABA, they were working with her just to like high five the door, little things like that. So her ABA therapy over the summertime was at their clinic, which is about 40 minutes away from our home. And she is still in pull-ups, and will be for who knows how long. I mean, you can't like pressure a kid that has special needs. Just encourage and things like that. So anyway, if she had a bowel movement while she was at ABA therapy, then she wouldn't let me change her in the car, so I would have to take her home to change her, and it nearly sent me over the edge. Yeah. I talked about it in my last video, but things got pretty dark for me there. And I would just be filled with anxiety. Something that causes me a lot of anxiety is her bathroom habits, because there's just so many things. It's hard to go in public with her. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but the bathroom thing, because again, she wouldn't step foot in a public bathroom. And so if her and I were together and if I needed to use the restroom, I can't, because I obviously can't leave her outside. So then we became, you know, kind of trapped in our house a little bit. So that's a big one. It's gotten better. She will go in our bathrooms now. She's actually starting to take a bath again, which is amazing. She was only taking showers there for a long time, and now she's taking baths again. So that's great. She has sat on the toilet at school and at home a little bit, and so that's really exciting. She's kind of went through that before, where she'll kind of like start to seem like she's potty training and then she'll kind of revert back. So Delta, on the other hand, is fully potty trained. She's actually not even sleeping in diapers now, which is great and exciting. And let's see. I'm just looking at my notes here. We had some troubles with Dana going to school from September to about 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago. She was getting bit by another child at school, and there were 7 bites total, which should not be happening. So we went through a big ordeal. You know, you don't need to hear about that, but ultimately the bites continued to happen. And so we found an attorney that specializes in special needs families and the school districts, making sure that she has what she needs and keeping her safe. So now they have basically a one-on-one person with her all the time, and not like right on her, you know, they have like, it's a certain person, you know, feet away, and also helping her with any meltdowns she might have, definitely any transitions. So if say they're reading books and now it's time to go outside and play, if she doesn't want to do that, she will flop on the floor and have meltdowns. And so trying to assist her with that. We're really lucky that she doesn't, you know, I know sometimes kids can get really aggressive and violent, and we're lucky there that she doesn't do that. She's had a couple times where she's pushed. She did have a teacher that she pulled on her arm, but it's because, and this is what they told us, that the teacher was trying to get her to go one way and Dana was the other, and Dana grabbed her arm, or she was holding her hand or something, and the teacher got pulled and it hurt her shoulder. So I myself just try to make her comfortable. Like I try to do my best to keep her comfortable and happy, whatever that means. She still doesn't eat much variety. She's on medication to help her sleep, and she's on medication to help with her anxiety. And that might be part of why the bathrooms are less scary, is the medication. I'm not sure. She's put on a lot of weight, and I don't know if that's from the medication or just snacking or eating, you know, more carby foods than, I mean, she eats a lot of fruit, but doesn't really eat vegetables. She is eating more variety at school, which is great. Like she won't eat the things at home that she eats at school. And yeah, I don't know what we're going to do over the summer yet, but I really want her to be doing something. I'm sure going to therapy at the clinic is a possibility like we did last year, but I don't know if she's going to have the bathroom fear again. So maybe I should drive her over there and try it. Because if that happens, I was having to spend, you know, the sessions were up to 4 hours. And so I was having to spend up to 4 hours on that side of town, because if I drove, say, back home or ran errands or something, I needed to be close, because if she had a bowel movement, then that meant she had to have a dirty diaper at least 40 minutes so we could drive home. And then if I was say 20 minutes away, now you have to add 20 minutes to that. So it was so stressful. And yeah, I've been reading books. I have to be careful because if I read too many books about autism, it can get overwhelming, because then you start to project your future of what ifs, like what if, I'm not even going to go into it, but so I found one that I think it just came out called Forever Boy. And I've actually followed her on Instagram, and her Instagram handle is Finding Cooper's Voice. I think she has a blog as well. But so many of the things she talks about I relate to. And it validated it for me, because I often beat myself up like, you should just be able to handle this. Like you should be able to keep the house cleaner, or handle meltdowns better, or you should be able to not be so exhausted, and why don't you have more energy? And so one thing that her son had that my daughter has is she just never slows down. And even at like having a higher weight, I mean, she can't run as fast as she could a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, but she will wreck a room in a heartbeat, like a little hurricane. And it is so overwhelming to clean and pick things up only for it just to all get destroyed. And, it's a great idea to then teach her, no, you can pick up your things, but that does not happen. Her brain doesn't work that way. So it's hard to take her places. I think people look at me like I must be an overly anxious or helicopter parent, because I'm just like on her, like I'm always on. And anytime Dan and I go places with her, we both are. So it's hard to relax. And we went to Newport, Oregon, 2 weeks ago, and we hadn't gone anywhere in about a year, and it was fun. Thankfully, we didn't know if we would have fun or not. We get really self-conscious in hotels if someone is below us, because there was one time where, a year ago when we had traveled, and someone was like below us because the kids were running around or being loud or something, and someone was like knocking on the ceiling. And we got really embarrassed and felt really bad. So this time around, Delta is a big time like runner. And so we're like, stop running. So the next night I asked the front desk, like, hey, is there anybody below us? And so he looked, he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, we can relax a little bit. But it's very quickly going into a room and flipping light switches and, touch, like everything. And it's hard to know, is that an autism thing? Is that just a being, almost 5 thing? But it's just exhausting. Like, don't touch that. Don't do that. Blah, blah, blah. She repeats a lot, and so constantly asking for something over and over. When I say, okay, just a minute, okay, hold on 1 second, it'll just be a moment, like is on repeat for me, because I know she hears me, but she still is repeating those things. And now Delta's doing it too. So the ABA supervisor said I should just kind of talk through what I'm doing. Like, okay, Dana, it'll be a moment, because right now I am putting on my shirt, and now I'm going to put on my pants, and then I'm going to put on my socks, or, just kind of dictating what you're doing, to hopefully bring some awareness that, mommy is trying to do other things too. And it's just exhausting. But she did great at the aquarium. She got, I think, a sensory overload at one point and ran away, which is something that we've struggled with in the past. So Dan caught up with her, and she had went into this like dark theater and sat there for a while. And so we went to this little cafe in the aquarium and had a snack. And Dan's mom had came with us, and so it was her and I and Delta. And so he called, and he's like, she's not wanting to leave. So we did a voice or a video chat, and I said, hey, look, I'm having a snack. I'm having this, and I'm having this, and and food is definitely a big motivator for her. So that, you know, that did it. So she's like, okay, yeah, let's have a snack now. So we just kind of made a mental note in the future. We need to plan some sensory breaks because, you know, we think that she needs it. I had about a month ago, my cousin and his wife came from out of town and were passing through, and so they stopped by to visit. And then we met some friends through my mommy autism group. Her and her kids came over, and it was all planned in the same day. So the girls really had fun with my cousin, and then Delta fell asleep. And so then when Sarah brought her kids over, Dana was really excited. She's always excited to see people. But then after a little bit, she went in her room with her headphones and her tablet and just chilled out for a while, which was great because then I think her kids got to get kind of acclimated to like a new place. But again, it was like, okay, so she's just, her sensory, like it's like sensory overload. And I even get that too. So I understand it. Restaurants, you know, we don't take the kids to restaurants. I don't feel like we were big restaurant people before anyway. So, you know, when you're traveling, you kind of have to eat at restaurants, at least some. So they did pretty good. We were glad to come home, I think, after 2 days. Well, it was 3 days total, 2 nights. Sorry, my arm's itching. But it felt like a success. So I was happy. She didn't run out in the street. It feels like she's learned a lot about safety while at school. So that's helpful too. Parking lots always give me anxiety and still do, but it's getting better. We have a DMV disability parking pass because I don't want to park too far away, and talk to the doctor about it, and she agreed. So I can open the van door and Dana can get in and out. I'm starting, you know, in safe places, like when we drop Delta off at daycare, we're in the disability parking space, and there's like, you know, space from the next car. And so I'll open Dana's door with the remote thing and say, okay, get out, and because she can unbuckle herself now. Okay, get out and go stand on the sidewalk. And usually she can do that. So baby steps. Last year, and I'm not sure if we talked about it in any videos, but last year for Easter, she ran into a highway. My in-laws live off an old highway, and people go really fast on that road, and she got away from us and ran into the street. So that was probably one of the worst moments of my life. We don't talk about it too much, but very scary. So we ended up coming home early because we're like, okay, we can't even like enjoy like the rest of the time with our family. We stopped at my aunt's house because it was Easter. Well, maybe it was the day before. My aunt had an Easter thing planned that day, and so I texted her on the way out there, and I said, hey, Dan and I are pretty like upset and just kind of like a little tender right now. So and her backyard is fenced, so I did feel safe there that Dana wasn't going to run away. But I said, this happened and we're going to go home right after. Like, we're not going to go back and you know, do any other activities while we were in town. So that always like sticks in my mind of like such a hard, scary thing. And like I said, thankfully, you know, we haven't had any more of those issues. So I know there's more. You know, I feel silly complaining about it, because sometimes I feel like people hear me and think, oh, it's not that bad, but it is that bad. It's really tough. And I'm not trying to use it as an excuse, but I'm just kind of sharing like why I feel so broken, maybe. So yeah. Delta is silly, and her personality is, you know, coming out more and more every day. She does not have autism, and which I'm thankful for. She is just so silly. I had never heard her say this before, but when my cousin came to town, she was really shy, and she used to be really, really shy when she met people, but she was kind of shy, and then suddenly she like looks at them, goes, check out my moves, and like did this like little like crazy move, a dance move, and it just surprised all of us that she did that. And so she continues to do that. Like this morning I did her hair in braids, and she goes, Dana, 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 because sometimes Dana doesn't pay attention or look when you say her name. She goes, look at my style, look at my style. And I think we will probably continue to have conversations with her. I thought maybe with her being potty trained and Dana not, because she'll see me change Dana's diaper and stuff, that it would be an issue. But I just talk about, you know, people have different bodies and people are ready at different times. But I'm sure we'll have a conversation, age appropriate conversation of what autism is and things like that. And yeah, Dan and I were talking as I was unbuckling her, and there was a pause, and she goes, anyways, which we don't say. I don't think I say it. So I guess she must have picked it up at daycare, but yeah, she has a dairy allergy, and a pretty severe one. So they said that she could grow out of it by age 3. So they've now done the blood test and the skin test, and she passed those. So on Friday, we get to go to the doctor. Dan will take her, and then I will probably come at some point because I have to get Dana on the bus. And she has to consume dairy, and then wait 4 to 6 hours and see if she has a reaction. Because when she's had dairy twice in the past, she violently throws up and then goes gray. Like I don't know if she's stopping breathing, or obviously her breathing is affected. So we have EpiPens and stuff, and thankfully we've never had to use them, but the doctors, of course, are nervous. We just want to know if she still has that reaction or not. So, all right, my memory card got full. Anyway, so we'll see how the allergy test goes. They talked about like even having her hooked up to an IV or something, but we kind of all decided that that's not fully necessary at this point. So hopefully she's not allergic to dairy. She knows pretty well when something has milk in it or dairy in it. So she will tell you, no, that has dairy in it. Or she'll just say, no, that has dairy. And even if it doesn't, she still will eye it, kind of give it the side eye. She's like, no, that'll make me sick. So we don't know if she'll actually drink milk at the doctor's office. So we've promised her ice cream with sprinkles. And ice cream to her is like sorbet. So, you know, we'll have to get real ice cream and see if she can see it. So, or see if she can eat it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you for listening to me ramble. And, you know, I might write a book someday or make a blog or something talking about everything. But for now, I'm just trying to get through it. So, okay. Thank you for watching. Bye.